All right, how do we start the warm-up? Part A. Find the slope. How do you find the slope?
Minus 3. Negative 3 minus 6.
Good. Subtract the y's.
4 plus.
Subtract the x's. Good. I'm getting negative 9 over 5. That does not reduce. We are done. Any questions? All right, part B, find the x-intercept. How do you find the x-intercept? Make y 0. So 4 times 0, we wouldn't even need to write anything for that term. We can go right to 2x equals 6. Very good. We always write them as an ordered pair, so that would be 3, 0. The next one for the y-intercept, what do we do with x? Make it 0. Good. Again, that term will cancel out. We don't need to worry about it. This will reduce. And as an ordered pair, 0, 3 halves. What are your questions on the warm-up? All right, today we're doing section 2-4. It's all about writing equations, so you won't need any graph paper today for our notes. But we will be looking at some graphs.
Are you graphing tonight?
You might have to graph some on your homework. But yeah, for the notes today, there won't be any graphs. All right, so for all of our examples today, you basically need to find 2 things. You need to find what m equals and what b equals so that we can write our equation in the form y equals mx plus b. Anytime you give your answer for y equals mx plus b, x and y should be x and y. Sometimes we change them along the way to help us get m and b. But when you give me your final equation, y should be y, x should be x. You need to replace m with your slope, b with your y-intercept. So I always start every problem with saying, do we know m, do we know b? Do we know m in this case?
Yes.
Do we know b in this case? So we are ready to write the equation. Y equals, instead of m, you write the m value. X, instead of b, you write the b value. So when they give you m and b, these are a piece of cake. Any questions? Number 2 is very similar to number 1. Do we know m? Do we know b? So we are good to go. Y equals m x plus b, replacing the m with a negative 4, the b with 1/6. Questions? So for example 3, do we know m? Yep. Do we know b? No. So that's going to be the issue. So I'm going to write m equals negative 2. B equals, I don't know. But I can find it because I can use this for x and y. Remember, any point on a line should make the equation true. So I can replace y with negative 5 and x with 3 to see what b would need to equal. So again, we're using y equals mx plus b. Instead of y, I'm going to use negative 5. Instead of m, I'm going to use the negative 2. Instead of x, I'm going to use our current x value, which is 3, plus b. So the negative 5 and 3 aren't going to be part of our answer, but we can use them to help us find b. So this will be negative 5 equals negative 6. So what's b going to equal? 1. Great. Now we have b. We started out with m. Those aren't the answer, though. The answer is y equals negative 2x plus 1. Any questions? For example 4, do I know m? Yes. Do I know b? No. I need to find b. How am I going to find b? Good. You put 2 in for x, negative 6 in for y, into y equals m x plus b. So we have negative 6 equals 4/3 plus b. I'm going to subtract 4/3 from each side. Anyone with a calculator want to do the hard work for me, or do I have to think about my fractions? I think it's -7 1/3. Or -22/3. That one would work too. It's really up to you. A lot of times when we graph things, we put the b as a mixed number because it's easy to find on the graph, and then m we do improper fractions because it's rise over run. But both are acceptable here. So it's going to be y equals 2/3 x minus 7 1/3, or 22/3. What are your questions? All right, here's example 5. On example 5, do I know m? Do I know b? Uh-oh, I've got some work to do. Any ideas?
Find the slope.
Find the slope. M is just the slope. So how do I find slope? Very good. Subtract the y's. Subtract the x's. So m is a half here. Yes. Now we want to pick an ordered pair to use in our equation to find b. The question was, can you pick either one? Yeah, I usually just use the first one. It doesn't really matter. Sometimes one is easier than the other depending on fractions and positive and negatives, but I'm just going to use the first one. So I have -3, which is my y, equals 1/2, which is my m, times 2, plus b. 2 is going to work out nicely in this one as the x, because those will give us 1. 4 worked out nicely too if you use the other point. We should get the same b though no matter which point you used. Alright, we found m, we found b. Our answer is y equals 1/2 x minus 4. What are your questions? Alright, here's example 6. I just wanted to show you that these could be asked in several different ways. I'll show you another one where they give you the 2 points in terms of x and y intercept. That'll be on the next one. But on this one, they can either give you 2 ordered pairs as ordered pairs, or they could give you a graph. You can locate the 2 ordered pairs on the graph and then use this same method. And here it's pretty easy because they're shown with these points. Sometimes they won't be. Sometimes you'll have to actually look through the line and say, okay, it hits at -2, 2, and it hits again at 4, -3, and then you use the same method. So these are actually 2 different ways you could present the exact same problem, and you'll have to do both in your homework. Any questions on that? All right, my questions for you. Do you know M? Do you know B? No, so we have to find them both. We always start with the slope. So I'm going to subtract my y's, subtract my x's. I'm getting -5/6 as my m. My next job is to find b. Again, it doesn't really matter which ordered pair you use. I don't think one's going to be easier than the other on this one. So y, I'm going to use 2 equals m, which I just found to be -5/6, times x, plus b. So 2 equals, when I multiply this, I'd get 10/6, which is the same as 5/3, plus b. Subtract 5/3 from both sides. Anyone know what b equals? 1/3, yeah. 6/3 would be 2, so you're just 1 shy of that. So you get 1/3. So my final answer here is y equals the m value I found, which is -5/6, x plus the b value. And we're done. What questions do you have? All right, here's another way they can present the problem to you. you do it pretty much the same way. If they give you the x-intercept and the y-intercept, they're essentially just giving you 2 points on the graph. However, it's actually a little bit easier. Because do they give you m? That's B, yes. They do give you a little more information when they give you x and y intercepts because you know the y intercept is the B. But you still have to go through and use the formula to find the slope. But it's pretty easy because there's a lot of zeros in there. So 2 minus 0 over 0 minus negative 2. Careful on your signs here. I know I've seen students mess this part up. So just be aware of that. So y equals, we already found the m, x, and they gave us b. If you didn't recognize that they gave you b, that would be fine. You would plug this in for y, and then this would be your x. So 0 times 3 over 2 would just give you y equals 3, so you'd know. Sorry, b equals 3, so you'd know. Pretty simple. Questions on this? All right. Another way that the problems will be presented to you is by not giving you the slope, but giving you a line that's either parallel or perpendicular to your line, which is kind of a roundabout way of giving you the slope. So if we have a line that's parallel to this line, do we know the slope? Yeah. What is the slope? Yeah, they have the same slope. So if it's already in y equals mx plus b, you don't really have to do anything to find the slope. It's just the exact same thing. Do we have b? No. But again, we have an x and a y that we can use to find b. So y equals mx plus b. When you multiply there, you're just going to get a negative 2. Works out pretty nicely. B equals 1. So what's my answer? Very good. Y equals negative 2/3 x plus 1. Not too bad. What are your questions? No. If we looked at one that's parallel, we should also look at perpendicular. You guys are geniuses. Here we go. This is actually the last one. I told you not a ton of examples today. Once you kind of figure out the pattern, okay, I have to find M, I have to find B. These aren't too challenging. Again, we're after the same two things. But now they give us that it's perpendicular to this equation. Do I currently know the slope of this line? No. How can I find its slope, though? Good. We got to get the y by itself. So subtract the 2x. We're trying to get it into y equals mx plus b. That's the only way to know the slope. All right, I'm going to divide everything by 3. So y equals negative 2/3 x plus 5/3. So what is the slope of this line that they gave us? Negative 2/3. But we're looking for a line perpendicular to that. So what would my m be? 3/2. How'd you get 3/2? Flipped it and changed the sign. Very good. A lot of people screw the perpendicular ones up because they say, oh, well, this is m. This is m of the line that's perpendicular to our line. So don't think it's going to be the same m. This is technically an m, but not the m that we want. So flip it, change the sign. Do I know b? Nope, but I can get it pretty easily because I have an x and a y. They're both 2. So y equals m, my new m, not the old m, x plus b. So b in this case is -1. Anyone know the answer? Wonderful. What are your questions? All right, here's your homework. Like always, it's the odds, so make sure you're checking your work as you go. Come prepared to ask questions tomorrow. Any questions now? All right, you have the rest of the class to work on that.